Hey guys, so welcome to the lecture where we're going to have a look at some fraction-based problem-solving questions. Now let's have a look at the very first question. It says, 3 girls were eating homemade pizzas. Sally ate 3/4 of a Hawaiian pizza. Now that's one thing that I should mention, guys, when we're doing worded problems. A couple of things you should always do. Try and always draw out the situation if it helps, and if you're able to easily. And also underline the most important aspects of the question every single time you do it. So Sally ate 3/4 of a Hawaiian, Miller ate 2/3 of her cheese pizza, while Yuan ate 5/6 of hers. And the question says, who ate the most pizza? So let's just write out this information quickly. So we have Sally, who's eaten 3/4. Then we have Miller, who has eaten 2/3. Then we have Yuan, who has eaten 5/6 of her own pizza. And then the question simply asks, who ate the most pizza? So the way we can interpret this is that since they're talking about the amount of pizza that's been consumed, all we have to do is simply find which of these is the largest fraction. So we have 3/4, 2/3, and 5/6. Now, so to find which one is the largest fraction, as we know, we need to find the lowest common denominator. However, we have 3 different fractions here, which makes it a little bit more challenging, but what we can do is basically find it for 2 fractions and then bring the 3rd fraction in. So let's work with these 2 fractions first. So the lowest common denominator for 4 and 3 is the number 12. Then, using our little multiplication signs, we have 4 times 3 gives me the 12 here, and then 3 times 3 gives me 9 here. Then we have 3 times 4 gives me the 12 here, and then 2 times 4 gives me the 8 here. So 9/12 and 8/12. That already tells me that 2/3 is actually smaller than 3/4. So 2/3 cannot be the answer. So Miller could not have eaten the most pizza. Now we can compare 3/4 and 5/6. So our lowest common denominator for 4 and 6 is again the number 12. Then, using our little multiplication signs, we have 4 times 3 gives me 12, 3 times 3 gives me 9, 6 times 2 gives me 12, and then 5 times 2 gives me 10. And as we can see, 5/6 is actually the bigger fraction. So to answer the question, who ate the most pizza? The answer would be Yuan ate the most pizza. Now remember, guys, when we are doing worded problems like these, it is always good to finally end the answer, or to, in conclusion, write the answer in a statement form. It's always really good to do that, because that way there is absolutely no confusion or ambiguity as to what your answer really is. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so this question says, Dayton's mum made a big apple crumble pie for Christmas. Dayton was really hungry, so she ate 1/10 of it, and then came back later and had another 1/3. Part A says, how much pie did Dayton eat altogether? And then finally, how much of the pie was left? Now guys, if it's helpful, it is worthwhile actually drawing out this particular scenario. So let's have a look at this. So that's the whole pie there, and it says that Dayton was really hungry, so she ate 1/10 of it. So imagine that. So imagine this is 1/10 of the pie. And then she came back later and had another 1/3. So imagine this is another 1/3 here. So we need to figure out how much this pink portion is for part B, and how much this white portion is for part A. So as we can see, 1/10 plus 1/3 will tell me exactly how much Dayton ate. So part A, we simply have to do 1/10 plus 1/3. Now 10 and 3 have a lowest common multiple of 30. Then we do our multiplication signs. 10 times 3 gives me 30, 1 times 3 gives me 3. 3 times 10 gives me 30, and 1 times 10 gives me 10. 3 plus 10 gives me 13/30. So to answer the question, how much did Dayton eat altogether? She ate 13 over 30 pie. Now the next part says how much of the pie was left. So that is the pink portion here that we talked about. That's that portion right there. So if she ate 13 over 30 pie, and we need to figure out exactly how much she has left. So let me go back to the white color. So she ate 13 over 30. Now the whole pie was 1 minus 13 over 30. The other way to look at this is that if there were 30 equal pieces for that pie, she ate 13 of them. So if out of 30 pieces, she ate 13 of them, then logic tells us that 30 minus 13, which is equal to 17, so 17 out of 30 pieces were actually left. So to answer part B, it would simply be 17 over 30. Because guys, 17 over 30 plus 13 over 30 ends up with 30 over 30, which is equal to the entire pie itself. Hope that made sense. Moving on to the next question. Alright, so this question says, my mum made 8 liters of lemonade today. Emma drank 1/3, Trudy drank 1/12, and I drank 1/10. How much did each of us have? So it says Emma had 1/3 of it. Then we had Trudy, who had 1/12 of it, so 1 over 12. And then finally me, who had 1/10 of it. Now guys, when it comes to fraction land, we have to employ this particular method. So we have 1/3 of the entire 8 liters that Emma drank. And in fraction land, of simply means multiplication. So we're doing 1 over 3 multiplied by 8. The bottom number for a whole number in a fraction is always 1. So 8 times 1 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. Converting this into a improper fraction, converting it from an improper fraction to a mixed fraction, we get 2/3. Now, if you're not too sure how I did that, please do go back to the chapter where you would have learnt about converting improper fractions to mixed fractions. It is in my Learn Basic High School Maths the Easy Way lecture series. So Emma drank 2/2 liters. Then we have 1/12 of the 8. So once again, we have 1 over 12, of meaning multiplication, and then 8 over 1. So 8 times 1 is 8, 12 times 1 is 12. At this point, we can use the highest common factor method to simplify this fraction. So 4 goes into 8 twice, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So Trudy drank 2 over 3 liters. And then finally 1/10. So 1/10 of the 8, which is 1 over 10, multiplied by 8 over 1. So we have 8 times 1, which is 8, 10 times 1, which is 10. Highest common factor of 2, so 2 goes into 8 4 times, 2 goes into 10 5 times, which gives us 4 over 5 liters. So Emma drank 2/2 liters, then Trudy drank 2 over 3 liters, and then finally I drank 4 over 5 liters. So that is how we use fractions to find the fraction of another particular number or fraction itself. So I hope that made sense. Moving on to the next question. We have Kane makes $2,800 a month. He spends a quarter of it on his car loan, half on entertainment, and a seventh on new clothes. Half of whatever remains he puts into his savings account. How much does he save each month? So once again, let's just write out all this information. So we have Kane, who makes $2,800 a month. He spends a quarter of it on his car loan. So 1/4. Then entertainment takes up half of it. And then new clothes take up 1/7 of it. And then half of whatever remains, savings, equals half of what remains. So guys, it's always good to just write out the information just to make sure that you've captured it properly. So the question says, how much does he save every single month? So let's figure out how much he spends first, and then we can figure out how much he saves. So on his car loan, he's spending a quarter. So car loan equals a quarter of $2,800. So we have 1 over 4 multiplied by 2,800 over 1. Now, the highest common factor between 4 and 28 is the number 7. So 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 28 7 times with the 2 zeros. So that gives us $700. So he's spending $700 every month on his car loan. Then entertainment, he's spending half of it. So half of 2,800, which is simply half times 2,800. Once again, using our simplifying method, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 2,800 1,400 times. So he's spending $1,400 every single month on entertainment. Then he has clothes, where he spends a seventh of it, so 1 over 7 times $2,800, which gives me 7 goes into 7 once, 7 goes into 2,800 400 times, which gives me $400. So our three expenditures are $700, $1,400, and $400. So let me do it in the corner here. So we have 1,400 plus 700 plus 400, which gives me 0, 0, 7 plus 4 plus 4, which gives me 15, and then 1 plus 1, which is 2. So he is spending $2,500 out of the $2,800 every single month. Now it says half of whatever remains he puts into his savings account. Now let me just rub out a part of this here, just so I have a little bit more space. So he earns $2,800. He spends $2,500. So doing a takeaway between the two will tell me exactly how much he has left after all his expenditures. And then he saves half of whatever remains. So half of $300 is equal to half times 300 over 1. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 150 times, which gives me $150. So the question asks me, how much does he save each month? Therefore, he saves $150 per month. Again, guys, very easy to just write out the final answer in a statement form so that there is absolutely no confusion as to what the answer is. Moving to the final question, we have Jolly is making some cookies. The recipe she's using needs a quarter cup of sugar, so she goes and buys a 6 kilogram bag of sugar. Now, if 1 cup of sugar can hold 240 grams, how many batches of the recipe can she make from her bag of sugar? So she has a 6 kilogram bag of sugar. Now 1 cup of sugar is equal to 240 grams. Now the recipe she's using says she only needs a quarter cup of sugar, so she goes and buys 6 kilograms of sugar. So if 1 cup is 240 grams, then a quarter of it is how much she needs per recipe. So a quarter of 240 is simply 1 over 4 multiplied by 240 over 1. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 240 60 times, so 60 grams. So she needs 60 grams of sugar per batch. Now she has a bag of 6 kilograms, which is the same as 6,000 grams. And one batch only requires 60 grams, so we need to see how many 60s fit into 6,000. Now the 0 gets cancelled out here, so we're left with 600 divided by 6, which is simply 100. So the question says, how many batches of the recipe can she make from her bag of sugar? Therefore, she can make 100 batches. So guys, again, those are some really typical sort of examples using fraction-based problem-solving questions. I hope they were helpful. Please do make sure that you have a go at the worksheet that I've attached. They have some more questions there for you to practice with. And I've given you answers as well, so you can check what you're doing is correct or not. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you in the next lecture.